Vampire Survivors is the perfect game for anyone who wants to experience a 30-minute joyride, going from slapping evil bats with a leather whip to wiping out legions of demons with single devastating strikes from God's own bastard sword and the devil's sex whip. All in less time than the least ambitious pizza delivery places. Sounds like a trip, right? And it is, and it doesn't end there. On booting the game, you're shown a glorious retro splash page of a grimacing vampire, stoic tough guy, and improbably contorted lady. It makes me yearn for simpler times. I'm sitting in my parents' basement as a kid, no school tomorrow, eating a family-sized bag of Doritos in one hand, unpausing the family neds with the other, and just playing until the sun appears over the neighbour's house in my idyllic American suburb. And that's really impressive because I've never owned a NES, nor a basement, and I didn't set foot in America until my late 20s. But such is the raw power of that image, it makes me yearn for a past I did not have. After navigating through the minimalist menus, selecting your stalwart corpse to be, and booting into the game, you'll be transported even more into the past by the incredibly underwhelming start of the game. Oh, my dude just did a little whip thing. Did I press something? No, he did that all by himself. Can I move him? Yeah, I can move him. Okay. Is that a bat? I guess I'll move next to the bat, so when my guy does the little whippy, it'll kill it. Alright. Got a shiny gem. Guess I'll do it again. Is that it? Vampire Survivors cares not at all for your modern contrivances like attacking when you please, or a tutorial, or the controls, or what you should be doing. It's called Vampire Survivors. Just survive the vampires, you idiots. You'll work it out, or you'll die. Vampire Survivors does not care what you do. I mean, you'll be dying anyway, because this game does not collar you for long. You'll start out committing crimes against wildlife with a knockoff Indiana Jones prop, but those shiny gems dropping from the battered bats, which you're being opposed to collecting like the sticky-fingered goblin you are actually experience. And the gems start piling up, just as the enemies start piling up. Every level, you'll be given a choice of making your crappy starting weapon just a little bit less crappy, or taking a whole new crappy weapon, which somehow you'll use at the same time as your current weapon. Don't question it, it's the magic of 80s nostalgia, and possibly medieval inbreeding. In 5 levels time, you could have 5 more weapons, if you're not a wimp who chose support items. Each one is whipping, stabbing, hurling, casting, bibling, all at the same time. That is 6 whole slots of weapons, and 6 for not weapons, if you've already picked and upgraded all the weapons, or if your mother raised a coward. And you'll be bloody glad if you're a multi-limbed son of a sister mother mutant, because the enemy waves are ramping up faster than the fall of Western politics. Every ounce of damage is appreciated when fighting back the squishy hordes from your marginally less squishy body. At this point you realise why there's no attack button. It would be as useless as slash windows on a spaceship. There is no conceivable point in time where you would not be hammering that button like it's approaching a hardware store. Except for the first 30 seconds where you can kind of pretend you're some kind of crack shot master vampire hunter. As you slaughter enemies in their thousands, the gems keep coming and your level keeps rising like the average temperature between the ice sheets. And those crappy weapons are getting kinda less crappy. Decent even. You could even say they're devastating. And as you're dodging and weaving like a drunken kung fu master through the angry monsters, you will enter the flow. No longer will you see individuals. You will see only the horde, as your eyes gently unfocused like you've taken a shot of rubbing alcohol. You'll drift into the weaker spaces left by the recently departed, and ebb away from the rock-hard bosses in the stream of foes. Or you'll die. Again, Vampire Survivors does not care whether you live or die. But occasionally your trance will be broken by another shiny trinket in a De Beers blood diamond mine of gems, and you'll be compelled to touch it like a moth on the 11th step of the Lamps Anonymous program. There's a variety of random detritus to take advantage of. Meat will heal you, crosses will kill everything on screen, amulets will freeze the enemies, and also summon every last XP gem to your character like Bob Dylan fans born to the last festival brownie. Coins will drop into your wallet, which we'll talk about in a bit. Basically, while everything is chaos, these items make that chaos a little less chaotic. Speaking of chaos, did I mention the bosses? Every few minutes the game will throw a chewy crouton into your slaughter soup, something that requires a little more attention than the background butchery. A glowy bat, a big old bug boy, or the subject of my latest web dream. And if you've been a good little murder hobo, your reward for chomping through them is a treasure chest. Cracking open the chest is like biting into a landmine baguette. an explosion of light and noise that settles into the familiar concept of better weapons and more cash. The cash, which I will talk about in a second, stop being so impatient. While you don't choose what you get, you are guaranteed to get an upgrade for something you already have. No junk clogging up your precious slots. Worst case, you'll get a slightly better thing you are forced to choose when leveling up. But best case, I'm going to tell you a secret. It's not a very well kept secret because it tells you in the achievements. But I guess, skip to the time on screen if you want to protect the integrity of a £2 game. The chest will give you evolved weapons. Certain pain dealers combine with other, less interesting options to make mega powerful weapons of mass destruction. This is the one case where I will allow you to choose the non-weapon options and not call you a coward straight away. A few of these weapons in your arsenal will lead to you dishing out the Dark Age equivalent of 10 Hiroshimas every picosecond. Which sounds OP, and it is definitely OP. But so is the enemy. Before you get to the end, if you get to the end, you need all of that and more to fight back the waves of enemies before the sweet embrace of death suplexes you face first into the gravel. And with that, it ends. Command is suspended for now, until they clean all the Medusa guts out of the grouting, and you'll see a summary of all the war crimes you committed. And if you are serious about your serial killing, you'll unlock some extra goodies to make your murder more efficient next time, or at least more varied. And now we come to the cash. I told you we'd get there eventually. Taking your filthy stacks to the power-up section lets you buy permanent upgrades to your sessions. More damage, more health, more projectiles, more money, just more. And there's the one delightfully modern concession that Vampire Survivors makes to our weak modern demand for convenience. You can refund all of your cash if you change your mind, like the flaky cinnamon roll you are. Or spend it on more characters. Other than the very important distinction of shirt on or shirt off, you'll have a different starting weapon and a unique ability to help you dish out alternative servings of horror to your pain-intolerant enemies. And, inevitably, you load another game. After all, you only played for like 10 minutes, and in some form of alchemy, the leaden start of the game has turned to gold. It's no longer Weak Sauce Baby Town Frolics, it's now the palate cleanser, the shot of limoncello for the main course, the tender kiss before the leather hood goes on. You know what's coming next, and the anticipation for the Rain of Blood is delicious. Everything about Vampire Survivors is as replayable as that classic mixtape stuck in a cassette player of your first car. The beepy retro soundtrack, the MS Paint graphics from that overly edgy but talented kid in your class, the gameplay loop of Zero to Heroic Corpse. Each playthrough is like a single Pringle, or multiple stab wounds. You can't have just one. Now, I really want to criticise this game. It costs £2 on Steam. Badness should be at its very core, like at the heart of a Tory MP. If I'm trying to be a bastard, then enemy variety could be better. They mostly just walk at you like lemmings who decided that cliffs were passé and sighs for how all the cool rodents were dying nowadays. But things zigzag around the screen enough to keep you guessing while not upsetting the pace of the game. The entire story of the game is contained in the title, but I never question the motivation for why Oye Hex is fighting. He's trying to survive vampires. It's the end of the story. Desperately grabbing at the last corner criticism in a sea of experienced gems. Sometimes you're forced to pick an item or weapon you don't really want because there's no other option. It would be great to have another option like cash, but I guess the run will be over in less time than your average executive bathroom movement, so it doesn't really matter in the long run. Value for money, the game is £2 British, or whatever the equivalent is in American fun bucks, or your superior currency of choice. The only better return on entertainment for your hard-earned cash would be to pay 20 preschoolers 10 pence each to have a battle royale on the playground. But if you play Vampire Survivors instead, I won't be banned from being closer than 200 feet from yet another school. So yeah, that's Vampire Survivors. I reckon you should pick it up. It's still in early access, so more stuff's coming. Even while I've been reviewing it, they added a new character and another achievement, so who knows where to go from here. Probably more enemies to kill, I reckon. The vampires to survive, yeah. I'd like to thank all of my patrons for making this nonsense possible. Their names should be scrolling on the screen right now if I remember to do this. In particular, I really want to thank my £6 patrons, Ginge Dread, Ian Forbes, Ian Johnson, and Murph. So thank you so much, guys. You have made this worthwhile, and you have bought me multiple pints, so thank you very much for your assistance. If you'd like to join the hallowed ranks of my patrons, you first of all get the bonus of supporting my crippling kettle chip addiction, which I think is a worthy cause. You also get access to the Discord at any tier, and you also get access to game servers. So we have 7 Days to Die, we have Satisfactory, we can have Eco as well, but also happy to chop and change the games as they come. And we're trying to think of some new benefits for patrons. So yeah, maybe something to do with 3D printing. I like to do good old 3D print. Yeah, so you know, why don't you just join on the £2 tier, see what's up, throw me a few quids, and talk about what you'd like to see as a reward. You know, I'm a generous god. I'm sure we can help each other out. Right, thank you so much for your time. Stay sexy, and I will be back soon with another video about something cool. Bye!